All right, last of the booster characters for MK here, kind of. We're dealing with Shinnok. Okay, 6 hand size, 28 vitality, all death, evil. Your abilities cannot be cancelled by card effects. Okay, so at a different time, that static would have been too much. Now, the way the game is right now, maybe it's okay. I still don't like it personally. Right? You make him a 7 hand size with your abilities can't be cancelled. That in and of itself is disgusting. Right? You just can't negate anything he does. He just does whatever he feels like, and you're not doing crap about it. To a degree, and I'll get into that. R lose to vitality after your opponent plays an ability that draws any number of cards, destroy one of their foundations, or commit their character. This almost just translates into R, your opponent's just not going to play abilities that draw cards. Thankfully, it doesn't say draw cards or add cards to hand. It's just draw effects. So they can still do all their weird tutor stuff or grab things from their discard pile or return things from card pool to their hand. You can still do that stuff against them, and that's not too bad. If you care about your character at all, though, you're not going to be drawing any cards. You're just not going to. You're not going to play into that. E, lose 2 vitality, your attack gets +2 speed. If you're at desperation, you can also draw 2 cards and then discard a card. Okay, that's also disgusting, because if he ever goes into desperation, well, now he's just filtering for attacks. He's just murdering you. That's what he's going to get to do, okay? Unless he gets really unlucky. He turns into an aggressive cannon, because you're going to be playing attacks, filtering through, finding more attacks, and each of those attacks is going to be a +2 speed, and he's going to cut himself like crazy, yes, but he's going to be coming to kill you, and he's going to be getting the fuel to do it, and it's going to be scary. You might be able to shut him down. If you can shut him down at that point, great, because then you'll probably have a pretty easy backswing. However, his other 2 abilities, I say abilities, even though the first one's just freeness of free, you don't even have to declare it, they protect him and make him more difficult to shut down. Okay? Instantly, his first 2 abilities fuel his 3rd ability. Okay? The fact that your abilities can't be cancelled, so it's not like they can out of your league your responses, they can't revoke your enhances, they can't do any of that crap. Right? So if they're relying on those things in order to buy themselves time or in order to do things like shut you down at all, they are hosed. Just right off the bat. If you think you can chain block him via off-turn draw, you also can't do that, because he's also going to just shut you down again. There is something to be said about using up his vitality like as a resource. Once he gets himself into desperation, you can start teasing him and seeing if you can push more through him, but that's very risky play, because you can just burn your own resources and die. But it's an option. It's there. Okay. Looking at it, though, there are chinks in the armor. Okay. His abilities can't be cancelled by card effects, but they can be interacted with. And that's important, because lots of the draw hate doesn't specifically cancel, right? Lots of hate cards don't specifically cancel. They do things like after your opponent does X, they add the top card of their deck to their card pool, or after your opponent does X, they have to discard a card, or after your opponent does blah, 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 you get to do this, and they have to do this. You know what I'm saying? You have to rely more on these soft control pieces rather than hard control pieces. Soft control will discourage him from being able to play abilities, and leveraging that style of control, you may not be able to cancel in terms of rules, but you can cancel his effects by making him decide to not use them. I talk about that in my control video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I should probably post the link in the comments. I think I forgot to do that with the last one, but whatever. Go check it out. I talk about it there. Okay. R lose 2 vitality after your opponent plays an ability that draws any number of cards, destroy one of their foundations, or commit their characters. Okay. Again, there's weird nuances here. Okay. After they play an ability that draws any number of cards, so adding cards isn't accommodated, or doesn't count in this. Returning cards to your hand doesn't count in this. Also, it depends on how much you care about your foundations. Also, if you can set yourself up that foundations cannot be destroyed, there's a couple ways to do that, or that they can't leave your staging area, or if you have cards that trigger off of your opponent destroying your foundations, you can also use those. Those will discourage it. On top of the fact that if your character is already committed, or if it's a character with a commit cost and you can commit your character as a cost, and you have something in your staging area that procs whenever your opponent destroys something on your side, right? Now, all of a sudden, his R isn't as valuable because you've made it less effective. The E lose to vitality for his attacks to get +2 speed, and then if he's at desperation, he draws 2 and discards 1. That's a draw effect. You can't cancel it, and I know most of the soft draw hate doesn't affect characters, but that's still something to note. All right. It also increases speed, which means things that cancel speed won't cancel him because he can't be canceled. But soft control pieces of increasing speed, I don't even think there are any. But I can be hopeful. Why'd they print that? Your abilities can't be canceled by card effects. What other effects are there? Like hocus pocus effects? Like, do I get effects because of my playmat or something? Is there non-card effects somewhere that I don't know about? I don't know. Anyways, this guy's going to be really scary. Just that top ability alone, where your abilities can't be canceled, is huge. Very important. Okay? I think this guy's going to be incredibly relevant. And with the right build and with the right attack lineup, I think he can easily take high-level events. Especially, again, in a strong pilot. My goodness, this terrifies me. It really does. He has 2 abilities on him that really protect his third ability, and his third ability ends games. Okay? Remember that in UFS, as much as you want to do cute stuff all the time, as much as you want to make wacky combos, as much as you want to grab perfect things out of your discard pile, and as much as you want to have all these card draw and all this stuff, you still need to end games. Okay? His ability just says, this helps you end the game. Straight up. Right? It's a delivery method, and it finds you more things to deliver. Right in and of itself. Okay? And his other 2 abilities just protect it. They make it more difficult to deal with him. They make it more difficult to protect yourself. All right? He's designed to end games. So keep that in mind. Just remember that. That's ultimately what we're doing, is we're trying to win games, and he can do it. So I definitely think he's really strong. I definitely think we're going to have to watch out for him. And yeah, that's it. If I'm going to build him, if I'm going to build a deck for this guy, I am. I'm looking at a fairly high attack count. If I can run higher speed too, that's good, because then his additional speed is just going to make him that much harder to deal with. I'm going to want some kind of a lube ability in order to play more attacks, because I'm going to want, when I want to go off, I want to be able to just dump my hand. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to want some kind of a system so that I can play more cards, and when I feel like I'm ready to go off, I want to just go off, and I want to end the game right then and there. And that's how I'm going to have to design this deck, right? You can rely on the fact that your abilities can't be canceled. So you can play the more fragile attack lines and not have to worry about it, because your opponent can't do much about it. They can still do stuff like discard attacks from your card pool, and they can still interact with things. They can still clog you. They can still make your life more difficult. But again, you just have to mitigate those things and leave the things you don't have to, right? Like, you don't have to protect your attack turns as much as you have to worry about the very specific ways your opponent can get through your pre-built-in hate, right? That's how I feel about this character. Anyways, next we're on to Scorpion and Sub-Zero.